I don't know about you guys, but when you start reading a lot of transfer news, if you have a lot of experience in it, you can already start to tell some certain patterns. You can already tell which news is actually more reliable than the other. And let me tell you that with these next two, I do really put my hat into the ring and would like to say that I believe this is going to happen. What's going on, guys? ¿Cómo están? BugaLuis here. Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we got two very important pieces of news. We have Lautaro Martinez edging closer to Barcelona, and Barcelona very close indeed as well of signing Sergiño Dest from Ajax. And before we start this video, if you're excited for the return of football and you want to watch it with us on this channel, be sure to drop us a like and leave us a subscribe and turn on that bell notification icon, guys. That thing is literal power. So we're going to be starting off right away with Lautaro Martinez edging closer to Barcelona, and this one is very interesting because we got several reports in Spain coming from Sport and Mundo Deportivo and also us. And you know, when you have these two kind of rival opposing newspapers, the Barcelona newspapers and also the Real Madrid newspapers saying the same thing, it probably means that something is actually happening. And well, in this scenario, we have Inter de Milan actually acknowledging that Lautaro Martinez is going to be leaving. They're already preparing to chase after two main strikers, those being Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Timo Werner. Those two which I actually think would fit very good with Lukaku in that double front two that they got in their team. So by all means, if they can get the money that we're gonna offer them, then by all means, go out there and get those two players. I think it's going to be very good for Inter. But of course, we're talking here from a Barcelona perspective. And while the deal seems to be already edging to that because Inter de Milan wants this to be finished, possibly by next week, they really already want this to close the chapter so they can move on with those two targets. And Barcelona, the deal that they're preparing and now they just need to kind of finalize is that one of Semedo and Cancelo. We already made a video discussing this deal entirely. This is triple swap. So if you want to have more information on that one, I'm going to link it somewhere here on the video. But in short notice, what is going to happen is that Barcelona need to actually have Cancelo leave Manchester City, and they have to really understand if it's going to be Semedo plus money, is it going to be Cancelo plus money, and if it's going to be, I don't know, a straight swap. Those are the negotiations that are currently going under. And as soon as Barcelona is able to complete that, because we know that Semedo has already reportedly agreed kind of terms with Manchester City, as soon as Barcelona can get Cancelo, then Cancelo will be instantly shifted to Inter de Milan, and then Arturo Vidal will be joining that deal plus 60 million to be able to get Lautaro Martinez to Los Culés. And I think that overall this seems to be a very possible outcome. I do believe that this is the kind of role that Barcelona are pursuing, and if so, are we going to be happy with it? And that's kind of where I want to lead this video now for the next kind of chapter of it, this kind of news. I gotta say that with all due respect with Nelson Semedo and everything, this deal doesn't seem as bad as what they were reported before of kind of Juventus, the triple swap with Mattia De Siglio, with Pjanic, with all of that. No, because we're keeping Arturo. We are letting go of a player like Arturo Vidal, and yes, we're letting go of a crucial player that could have been Nelson Semedo, but it doesn't mean that he is not replaceable. For instance, in the case of Arturo, I look at that position and I see less possible candidates to take that if Arturo leaves. Well, in the case of Nelson Semedo, Semedo is going to be staying here, you know? And Semedo, whilst in the case of Semedo, he had a long time. And in the case with Semedo, he had a very tough time trying to get a starting position. And Sergio Roberto is not going to make it easy. I already talked with some of you in the comments saying that one of the main reasons why that is happening, why Sergio Roberto is taking that spot, is because simply in some clubs, you're going to have that kind of bias that you are a youth product, you know, that you know the ins and out of the club, that you play that game style, you play the tactics that you know basically because you've been brought up there, and that is actually important in some cases for a dressing room. And one of those players is Sergio Roberto, so the club doesn't want to get rid of him that easily. And I gotta be honest that in my opinion, I think we shouldn't get rid of him either. I do think Sergio Roberto is an important player when we can really need him, but we don't need him every single week in and week out. And that is why Barcelona is looking for other options out there for the right back position. So using that very nice segue that I just created out of my mind, we're gonna be talking about that right back that Barcelona are pursuing, and it's Sergiño Dest. And before we go into this player and what I think of him and what I think of the actual move, I'm gonna give you the reasons why I think you should believe this. The very first of those is because it's a news that comes out of absolutely nowhere, and sometimes these news are actually more reliable than ones that are keep kind of continuing with follow-ups and follow-ups. The reason for this is because kind of it may be a strategy, a plan that the club already have in place, and it's a plan that it just gets revealed when something is already being accelerated. So if you take into account that Semedo is actually departing to Manchester City, and I think that seems real, then Barcelona will activate the operation sign Sergiño Dest. So that is why we haven't heard that before in the news, because Barcelona haven't been actively trying to do that. But I do think it was in the plans. And the second reason why I do think it's in the plans and it makes a lot of sense is because he's a player from United States. And you may be like, wait, what? Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, because if you didn't know, Sergiño Dest, 19 years old, he was born in Netherlands, so he could play without that kind of extra, what do you call it? Extra foreigner place. I don't know the actual name of it, but you know what I mean. So Barcelona are allowed, if I'm not wrong, 4 players of outside kind of the European Union. So those would be, in our case currently, Luis Suarez, Lionel Messi, Artur, and Arturo Vidal. And well, you may say, if we include Arturo Vidal in the kind of deal for Lautaro, then we'll be surely losing one of those spots, right? And technically yes, but we also know that the club is 100% trying to pursue Neymar, and we would also be receiving one in return, that would be Lautaro Martinez. And why is this important? Well, to the entire deal, and especially this right back position. Well, because Emerson, if he came back from Real Betis, if we called him back, he would also take up one of those spots. So he wouldn't be eligible to play. Even with Lautaro Martinez in the squad already, Emerson wouldn't be able to make an appearance, because there's no way we're getting rid of Suarez and Messi just yet, and Artur, we know that's a no-no. So Emerson would be out of the kind of 4 spots. So the operation sign Sergiño Dest makes then a lot of sense. The Barcelona really wanna get this player because he's capable of not taking up one of those slots, and he also will play a lot of minutes, I would say, and would also get a lot of potential. So in return, you can say that signing Sergiño Dest is kind of the backup plan for Barcelona. Getting this 19-year-old player that already plays under Ajax and seems to have a lot of potential, a very prolific player that can play with both sides, it makes a lot of sense. It's kind of like an emergency option. If they even want to sell Junior Firpo, Sergiño Dest will be capable to play there as a left back as well, and they could even return and loan in kind of someone like Musa Wagué. So there's a lot of different kind of scenarios to this one that makes actually a lot of sense for Barcelona currently. And well, indeed, if this deal is able to be completed for around 20 to 25 million euros, and I think Ajax, having taken into account that they're not having the best of seasons, surely not as good as the last one, 2025 would be a feasible fee to get someone of the quality of Dest. And the last piece of news, guys, is actually very small, but it actually is very important. And that is that Barcelona is apparently cutting the deal for Miralem Pjanic, and that seems to be no longer a. And you may ask yourself, why is this happening? Well, this just adds more validity to the very first news that we talked about, Semedo going to Manchester City, because then Barcelona wouldn't have that key to trade with Juventus. And likewise, apparently Barcelona hopefully have reacted to our backlash of signing Pjanic, because it makes sense now. They are departing away from that, and Pjanic is looking to then go to Chelsea in a swap deal for Jorginho. And that's something also very interesting, and it's reported by Fabrizio Romano, which is also very reliable when it comes to deals involving Serie A. So I would say that Barcelona are doing the right thing, and they deal for Semedo to City, get Cancelo from City, and then send it to Inter straight away for Lautaro. Looks potential, looks it's gonna happen. That's how I wanna close this video. It really does look that we are gonna be getting Lautaro Martinez, and in return, we could also get Sergiño Dest from Ajax. And guys, here is our reward for all of you who are watching till the end. And I'm gonna announce that right now, I'm gonna be starting to make one video per week that is actually submitted by you guys. And how are you able to submit this? Well, super simple. Literally, just leave a comment on this video, or simply message me for Instagram or Twitter. Those are the 3 social medias I'm most active. And simply just send me what kind of video you would like to see. And I'll pick the one that I like the most, and I will make it for that week. And your name will forever be kind of put in that video at the start. So don't worry guys, hopefully you enjoy this. And yeah, let's get to work. See you on the next one. Take care. Ciao.